StreamYard. I'm about to go live on IG. Yeah, we're live.
I think this has to be mute. Let me see. No, that's gonna be double. It's this. And you hear me fine, right?
Yeah, you sound good. You sound better than normal.
I figured something out, but can you believe my hair look worse than this? That's crazy.
Like no one can tell what you're like. It's not that much detail.
I could tell.
Um,
I guess that's what matters, right? Um,
Hi guys.
there we go. I'm trying to get it. There we go.
You can't tell I have a tan. I can tell I have a tan. The sun does.
Oh my God! Look, you have a tan. So nice.
Hi, Liquid Spotlight. Hi, Death Blitz. Death Blizz. How y'all doing today? Are y'all guys? Y'all look like guys. Duke Boogie. Oh, the guys are pouring in. This is what I want. What up, Duke Boogie? Duke Boogie. Boogie. Because I need to know. I need to know. Did y'all know?
I'm gonna try something real quick.
Boo. Tomato.
I need to see if you hear my echo.
Right now?
Yeah. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
All right. Let me know if you start to get feedback.
Okay.
I'm trying something right now.
You guys.
What the hell is that?
Did y'all know y'all have? Did you know you have 13 minutes? That's all I think about when I look at the title of this episode. Did you know that you have 30 minutes, sir? Did you know? What up, what up, what up, everybody in the comment section. Y'all can also watch this on YouTube and Facebook. On Facebook, it's on Devon's World. And it's actually on Devon's World too on YouTube.
Yeah.
Links in my bio if you're on my IG. Links in the bio if you want to multitask. We know how Instagram be demanding your full attention. We know how they be demanding your full attention. Then you have to watch IG and only IG. But I do like the IG comment section. Y'all be liver.
That's how the Facebook joint used to be back in the day.
What, for us?
Well,
or for you?
Me. Well, not just like me per se, but the stuff that I was doing back in the day.
You ready?
Nope.
Dang.
Do you have something for this? Like, did you have anything? Notes.
Yeah, of course I do.
Let's start off with that.
I mean, you the man. They ain't talking about us.
Yeah,
did
but you have your observation as a woman. So, you know what I mean?
Okay, but you were looking at your phone and shit. I'm sitting here like, okay, you ready or not? Like,
I'm sorry. I have to do certain things as I see it. If not, it ain't gonna get done.
Well, what do you think about it? Because I know how I feel, but they don't say we know in 30 minutes. They know we take a long time.
Yeah, for that. But y'all know within 30 seconds if they're gonna fuck a nigga.
Whether we be willing to and whether it actually happens. Yeah, he can just talk
want to.
Even faster than
will.
30 seconds, we know when we ain't gonna fuck a nigga.
That regardless. No, the thing is, a woman knows in the first 30 seconds about how your shoes look if she will let you smash or not. And the rest of the night is about you putting your foot in your mouth.
Whether she's willing to and whether it's gonna happen. Or whether she finds you attractive enough and whether it happen is something
all right. You splitting hairs that don't need to be split.
Yeah.
I'm saying it the right way. She knows whether or not she's gonna give you some poom poom then. She's waiting for you to put your foot in your mouth. I didn't say it's gonna happen on that night, but she knows I'm gonna fuck this nigga. That's what they say. That's what they say. But for a man, they say he knows within 30 minutes if you're gonna marry somebody.
Or maybe not 30 minutes, but they say they know when they know early. They're saying it don't take a whole bunch of time to know if this person might be somebody, either the one you want to marry, or somebody you would put into the long-term category, whether or not that ever unfolds into marriage for you or not. So I think in general, this is kind of shallow. Nobody should be making these kind of important life decisions in 30 minutes. Even though there are definitely stories of people who do and have had successful marriages after the first date, after the first hour of talking, somebody just stood out so much to them that they're like, this is my person. I think it comes down to, well, I mean, I think love at first sight is also different.
It's possible.
I think that's
happened to me twice.
With love at first sight?
You
don't say.
2.5 times, actually.
I don't think I've ever had love at first sight.
Yeah, it's happened to me.
I don't think I've ever.
I remember both times too. I was like, sheesh. I remember the first time it happened to me, I was like, oh my God. I feel like God didn't want me to fuck.
I don't even remember the first time I met somebody. No.
That's an interesting point. Except for people that I may have met like online or something like that. If I like knew them for a while, I don't remember our first interaction probably, but these people I remember vividly. Pardon me if you hear a lot of background noise. I don't think that. I think this. When the man chooses, like he says in his mind, like this is a person I can see myself with. It's not so much different as the same thing we just said with women who know whether or not they'll let a man smash within the first 30 seconds. A man know, I'm gonna put effort into this. I'm gonna put energy into this, and then she's kind of gonna fuck it up or not, right? I feel like in modern society, lexicon, we don't always view it that way. But a man is kind of looking at you like, I'm going to invest into this until you do some dumb shit. And once you do some shit I don't like, or make me feel uncomfortable, or like I can't be vulnerable with you in a certain way, I'm going past, right? But with that being said, I don't think it happens within 30 minutes, because that's happened to me once in my life, and I actually, wound up getting with that woman. But anybody else had to kind of grow on me. Even women that I thought were like beautiful and gorgeous and like the best. I feel like after about 3 days or 3 months, I was kind of like tired of them. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean?
So does that mean it was automatically lust versus love?
I never said I loved them. Okay. But I didn't. I mean, aesthetically, maybe even like professionally, they were like the ideal woman. You know what I mean? The woman that probably checked off certain boxes, but once I got deep to boxes I didn't even know existed, I was like, nah, this is not for me. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But I do know one time I went out with somebody on that one date, and the date ended up like in her car. We wound up talking in her car for a long. That was like far away from home too, and because I had to take the train, I was mad. My car was in the shop. which is what the fuck is in my cousin's shop now. Anyway, and while we were talking in her car, I remember sitting in the passenger seat and hearing her speak to me, and I knew right at that moment, like, I'm going to be with her. I didn't know in what capacity. I didn't know I was going to marry her. I didn't know any of that stuff, but I knew I was going to be with her. Like, there was nothing that stopped it. And I feel like that's happened to me one other time, but it didn't happen on the first date. It happened maybe like a month later.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, something happened where typically I would be like, I'm not dealing with this shit. And, you know, I'm Mr. I don't give a fuck. th- these motherfuckers always decide to race their dog in the hallway when I'm doing the fucking live or podcast or something. The same thing happened on a podcast I was on Saturday. Like, what the fuck? Anyway,
I mean, they've been pretty good without. This is the first episode I've heard them.
yeah, it's starting to irk me. And then also, I'm just tired of shit. You know how you tired of something? He's like,
Yeah.
So anyway, I was saying that I feel like, so it happened to me once again, and it didn't happen in the first 30 minutes or the first date, but it happened to me within the first month, and I knew when something had happened and it was brought to my attention, and I felt like she had a right to be mad, but not as mad as she was. I was like, I'm not dealing with this shit. And I remember hanging up the phone, and I went and did something. And when I came back to my car, I didn't like the way I felt. I was like, I gotta call her back. And I called her back, and I was like, she was talking her shit, and I was just like, nah, you're right. I'm gonna do better. She was like, oh. And it's funny because that was her reason for like liking me too. That I was just like, nah, I'm gonna do better. You're not wrong. She was like, oh shit, you're not giving no pushback? Nah, you was right. That was her reason for liking me. So in those two scenarios, yeah. And so you talk about 1 month and one date, never 30 minutes, never an
Mm.
hour. I can't look at somebody and just know, because I think the thing that I think I know the quality of a person within the first conversation. I know this could be something. How you respond to my questions, how we interact with one another, how you let me speak, and how you listen to me, and how you respond to things that I say. How you come up with your own. Like, I like to ask people like a series of questions. I have like 50 questions that I ask women, right? And depending how you answer me matters, because if you answer me with the same questions I'm asking you, you know, whatever. Same question to you. No, no, ask me the same. Be creative. Like, that matters to me. That I chalk that down. Not creative. Like, I mark that. So at the end of the day, I feel like with women, like, or how I interpret those things, I never look at it like this has to be done, or I have to go this hard, or I have to figure it out. It's like you just have a feeling that, all right, this might be somebody I can invest time with. This is not going to be a one night stand. This is not going to be a one hitter quitter. This is not
So,
going to be a what you call it. This is not going to be something where I'm only in it for less. Like, this means something. This means more.
mm.
You could tell that. You could tell that. But that doesn't
So
mean I want to marry
you
that bitch
you
at
you might
all.
not know if they the one, but you know what your intentions are for the
Very, very
situation.
quickly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, very well, very well. I like you said something. You said she checked boxes you didn't even know you had, and I feel like, as opposed to women, men don't be as marriage minded. So a woman that makes you think about marriage when you might have not thought about it on your own is a big deal for a lot of men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you come across somebody who forces you to consider marriage when you hadn't considered marriage, and then consider marriage with them, I think that's huge for most men, because they just float through life like, oh, I'll settle down one day, and one day is in the eventual future. They don't. Not saying, best way plans of mice and men that, you know, even if he's like, I'm going to get married in 5 years, that might not happen like that. But that reminds me of something else. Like, have you heard of the cab theory?
Cab?
Yeah.
No.
It comes from Sex in the City, and it's a theory that men don't think about marriage until like one day they just decide they're going to settle down. They basically do whatever the fuck they want until one day they decide they want to settle down. And they said like it's a cab that turns their light on, and the first girl who gets in is the one who gets the ring. Because they just decide they're ready. So they just marry the first one that, you know, they have, or whoever they're with when they decide they're ready to get married is the one who gets the ring.
Nah, that makes sense. But I feel like, isn't everybody like that?
No, I don't
So
think so.
women just look for marriage for every relationship?
I think women think of marriage from before we even understand relationships. I think women sometimes think of marriage from when they're real small girls.
That's not
So
my
as far as
question.
being
My
married,
question was, do women think about marriage in every relationship?
no, I don't think we're in a position to do so. I think so to some degree, I think yes, because you have to think about whether you'd want this person to raise your kids and do that. I think you don't entertain it for just any amount of time without thinking about whether somebody is marriage material, because you have a biological clock. You have to think about how they would show up as a husband. Even before that's even a stage, you start looking for husband qualities even before it gets there. And then, even if you think somebody has all the husband qualities, if you leave that up to the man, which most women do, you don't have any control over that situation. So you can't think about marriage in every single relationship.
I don't know.
Why you say that?
I don't believe it.
Why you say
I
that?
don't believe
Well,
it.
I'm not saying that women
I don't
can't
think
just
that
be out
women think
here.
about marriage in every relationship. I believe that women, especially when they're younger or just got out of a long term relationship, like a marriage, I think they know when there's a ceiling to a relationship. So if you want to say that they think about it insofar as to determine if this person is marriable, right?
Mhm.
Maybe, yeah. But as thinking about it like, oh, I want to marry this person, blah 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 blah. I don't think that happens. However, I will say this, and I want to unpack this a little bit. I do want to unpack this a little bit. Because you made me think about something when you were saying this. And one of the things that you made me think about was this. Men in our society are often pegged with the um responsibility to ask for a hand in marriage, which means a woman's role is to accept or deny said hand in marriage or request for engagement.
Mhm.
I often wonder if a woman who has never thought about it, like how often is it that a woman that's like, oh, we're just dating, I love him, he's cool, and then like you marry me, it's like, oh, like how many marriages actually happen because of that? Like I like him, so fuck it, I'm gonna marry him, as opposed to it being like a genuine plan. Because I know a lot of men sometimes feel forced to marry because of circumstances or whatever the case. And I think that some men marry women, you know, because they feel obligated to. On the
Mhm.
other hand, women, if they feel like there's a cap to a relationship, they won't press it. They're gonna be like, "Why you gonna marry me? Why you gonna marry me? Why you gonna marry me?"
Mm.
You think they will? Even if they feel like there's a ceiling to it, like this is as far as it's going to go. But I need to be married when
I
I'm
feel like
38.
if you feel like it has no ceiling, you shouldn't press it because again, it's not in your control. What is badgering that man gonna do? I think it's better. I feel like maybe women with like attachment issues or something like that, or certain insecurities. But I feel like if you have an insecurity in a relationship about marriage, and say you've been dating for a certain amount of time, and you're wondering if you're going to move to the next level, you're either going to have that conversation, or you set boundaries on yourself in the relationship. I'm not saying go and give them an ultimatum, but in your mind, know how much time you want to invest in this before you see progress. And you can discuss it. Don't do it in a way that's like an ultimatum, like this is what, you have to do this or this. But I have, certain goals in life and stuff like that. And I believe a certain amount of time and energy I should spend on this. If I don't see us being on the same page about things, like.
So I say that because of this, right? We're talking about men knowing within the first 30 minutes if this person is worthy of being married. And we start off the conversation by saying women usually know within 30 seconds, I'm gonna fuck this nigga or not. You know what I mean? This ain't
Yeah,
happening ever, or
I'm
she's
not gonna
giving
agree with
a better
that.
shot,
Yeah,
right?
that's what we said.
Now, with that being said, I think that sometimes, and I know at least 5 women, I don't say they hated men, but they have very negative outlooks on relationships. They date and they're like, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. And then they get with somebody and they marry this nigga. And I'm just like, where the fuck this come from? And I feel like marriage wasn't on their mind. And then somebody presented it to them and they were like, oh, I'm with it. You know what I mean? So that's why I also say I don't think that every woman. I do believe that American society makes women think about marriage and stuff like that way sooner than men. Most Western and I want to say Middle Eastern, even though I don't like that term so much, because like they even some African like they raise their women up like nah, this is how you take care of your husband from like 6. You know what I'm saying? Maybe younger than that. But even in Western society, yeah, it's sort of about what a woman more than a man. And I feel like a man might know if you're worth investing in. But I feel like some women, they kind of just say yes.
I agree because again, you're not in control of the proposals you get. So I'm sure there's women who have settled just because she didn't know if she was ever going to find somebody else who was like decent enough to marry. I'm sure that that's a thing because you don't have the power in the situation unless you're going to go around and propose to a man, which most women will not. So some women will just take the first proposal if they don't think they're going to get any more or don't think they have the time to invest in another relationship that could end up in a proposal. I'm sure that's a thing. He's a decent guy. He's nice. He treats me good. I can do this. That doesn't mean that was her ideal or I think that's kind of fucked up because there's plenty of people who make it work. You know what I mean? It's hard, but definitely you don't know how many proposals you're gonna get. You know what I mean? So you can't do this thing that women do where it's like, nah, I'm gonna hold out because I think better's gonna keep coming and better's gonna keep coming and better's gonna keep coming, like kind of thing. So versus like men who's like, yeah, if they want somebody to take a ring, they can find somebody to take a ring. I feel.
That's a fact.
I feel like men can find somebody to take a ring if they want a ring.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
It doesn't mean it'll be good. It doesn't mean it'll be healthy. It doesn't mean it'll have longevity, but they'll find somebody to say yes.
Yeah.
So I read a whole bunch of stories about guys who, had that lightning bolt moment. And it seems like I said, it just seems like one day some thought occurs and a guy is like, oh shit, I could, do something with this.
I never had that.
I haven't had that either. Oh no, maybe I did with my ex-husband. No, I think I might have with my ex-husband. Where I was like, that's crazy. But I think that's one of the okay. So whether or not you believe in it or whatever, I think that's a thing.
I was most definitely thinking that you thought you was looking around to see. I thought you were looking around to see who was listening to you. Like,
no, the AC came on. It's blowing right on me.
yeah, your hair is blowing.
Yeah.
Don't get
Yeah, my shit started moving. So I was reading all these stories. Yeah, I think I had a moment like that where it was kind of like, huh. And I think there's certain things, even whether you believe in you'll know fast or not, I think there's certain things that guys look for that stand out to them in the relationship that make them like really be like the guy said, like dealing with her made me think about marriage when I hadn't thought about marriage before. And I think a big thing for guys is when, this is a big thing for me too. If I have a vision for the future, but I feel like women are more easily more easily imagine a future with somebody than men do.
I agree.
Like, I think that's part of our delusion sometimes. Sometimes we're more invested in the vision that we have in our head than the actual situation.
That's a fucking fact.
So I think when men start to see themselves and see themselves as husbands and see who they're with as wives and try to envision that and like kind of get excited, that's a big deal for guys. One guy said when not just their body's hot, but their personality is hot, and then the physical becomes a cherry on top. Like I really like this person as a person. I'm really curious and want to get to know them. Like really, really want to know as much as I can know about them as a person because I think they're so fucking dope.
Yeah. That's the thing. I feel like at my big old age, I can't even have sex with somebody if I don't like them anymore.
Same.
Which is crazy, 15 years ago, it's different. I ain't gotta like you that much. You just gotta do what I like. Now I'm like, shit.
Right, not even with women, it's not even a guarantee that you do what I like. Shit.
But you know what the thing is too? The thing with I feel like, well, at least the first two that you mentioned so far, like prerequisites for me to even date somebody with intent. Forget liking them or I have I want to marry this moment person. But I'm also way more complicated than the average nigga too.
I feel like guys take a lot more steps on the beginning end.
No, I also feel like I'm more complicated than regular people.
Oh, okay.
Then there's that. But go ahead, I'm listening.
One guy said that he could tell his friend was really excited about this girl because he would not stop talking about her. And I think that's a big deal too, because I think there's a difference in time between when men know and when they let anybody else know.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I feel like that's something that, like, one of my friends just posted a chick. What the fuck is this? And he was like, "Oh, this is my." I thought, we got to catch up because you out here posting joints. That's different. That's different.
Yeah, that's right. Different. Like, yeah. Slide into these DMs real quick.
Yeah.
Everyone gets the eyes.
Let me tell you, I don't think I'm ever going to do that again in my life.
Oh, Jesus. Go on, tell us why.
All right. I'm just telling you, I went through some shit. I'll pass. Continue though.
I have a reverse.
Exactly. Go
ahead. They said things feel different to you. Maybe you've never dated anybody like this before.
What if? All right. So, do you think that your ex-husband was the best relationship you ever had? yes, you got to take the bad with the good because obviously you've ended more relationships than you've stayed in. So there's always a bad part to every relationship, but the good, the compatibility. I don't know if it was him or not, but there's a reason why I'm asking you this question. So if it's not him, then who?
It's either him or somebody else.
All right, which is still crazy because you married one nigga and you didn't the other. But I say that to say this: what if it doesn't feel new? What if it feels like the best parts of those two relationships?
Oh, I said different, but somebody else said that too. He said she felt so familiar that he was sure that he had already known her.
That happened to me. I definitely was on my first date like, well, I feel like I've known you for years. Why am I telling you this stuff? But I say that to say I've experienced a situation where one of the times like I knew like in a short period of time, like I said, like first date. It didn't happen the first date, but so I didn't have the same first date. Oh my God, I know this means something. It was maybe a month or two later, but I started noticing the same feelings as things were happening that I felt when I was with the other person. So much so that I had to take steps backwards because I was like, I remember how I jumped out the window last time. I'm not doing that again. And I kind of like, I communicated that, but I still fell back. I was like, nah, I got to chill. I feel myself being a
I feel
lovey-dovey
like
ass,
I've
sucking for
tested
love ass
myself
nigga.
like that. Like, I don't know, bitch. You might have to lay off and then we'll see if this is just a chemical high or something.
Right. Is this a dopamine rush?
Close again. I
Right.
don't know.
Right. Like, is this a dopamine rush or is this something else? Is it more than? It was something like that. I was just like, damn. So, yeah.
And we had another guy who was in there who was just like, listen, I've been wrong 3 times. Each time I swore this was my person. And he blamed it on confirmation bias. Like, you forget about all the times you were wrong. All the other times you got excited about somebody. The moment you were right about someone.
Oh, you ever fumbled the bag like that?
What do you
Where
mean?
the person was so right, you thought the devil sent them, so you was just like, nah, it's too good to be true. I gotta fall back. You don't seem like the type. You seem just as opportunistic as I am.
Maybe when I was a teenager, I had one guy who I had considered the guy who got away. But I was too young to be sure about that, for real.
That's funny. I don't feel like no girl got away. I don't feel like about anybody. I feel like there's like
I
maybe
don't feel
three
about that
women.
like that anymore.
No,
Because
just
I
in
had him on
general.
a pedestal, and then as we've gotten older, I've gotten to see him off that pedestal, and was like, oh. But you never know how things would have turned out. Maybe he would never came off the pedestal. Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I've never I feel like there may be 2 women that I dated that I feel like that I didn't date that I wish that we had a conversation about it, because if we had a conversation about it, maybe we could have built a relationship. Outside of that, but I was never with them, never dated them, never kissed them, never held hands with them, none. And both of them are married now, happily. And I've never felt like I broke up with a woman or whatever. There was one woman who I kind of dated recently, and I wasn't ready. I like, if I was where I am now, and if she was a little bit maybe wanted to interject a little bit more, I guess, of herself into my life, instead of like being passive and waiting for me to do everything, I think that something different probably could have happened. But that's crazy. Now I'm thinking about it. I talked about this before. Like she was it. She was the one, and I wasn't ready. I was just like, nah, I'm not about to fuck up your life for these next 2 years.
I feel like if you weren't ready, then she wasn't the one.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was the one. Like after I had been single for so long, I was like, all right, I can see. I remember I said, I knew, and we had that conversation like on our second date. Like, nah, this is different. This ain't normal. You know what I mean? And by the third or fourth date, it was like, this might be something. And then I was like, nah, we had a couple of conversations. I was like, I got too much going on right now. It's not going to be conducive. Like, you're not going to like me because the thing that you want from who you want me to be, I'm not going to be able to give you. But I don't feel like I let one get away. It just, the timing wasn't right.
If we have any guys in the comments, how long do you think it takes for you to know? They said that it takes men about 4 months before they feel like they know. They said it takes women a little bit longer, but still about between 4 and 5 months. Like the difference for women was like 20 days or something like that.
I think that's so topical. I think you know who to invest in by at least that time. I don't think you really know who you want to be with until you go through some fire with them. You gotta be through hell real quick. Whether they going through it and you, like when I was with my ex and I went through like a couple of hardships, I felt like, damn, you supposed to be my person. You're fucking up.
What if life doesn't present you hardships to test each other with?
Then I don't think you could define a friendship until you go through a hardship. And hardship doesn't always have to be like you two arguing. It could be a death in the family. It could be something with your job. It could be you going through depression. Something with your kids. Like, hardships come in many different forms. You got to know how somebody got your back. And I think, and if you don't know how somebody got your back, like, then you're testing somebody through fair weather. I don't want a fair weather friend. I want a friend that's going to be there to the end, even through stormy weather, time and time again. So if y'all don't know that song, listen to Johnny Gill tonight. You know what I mean? You even know I was singing lyrics.
No,
young ass girl.
I'm not that much younger than you. Anyways, I
Yo, 2 years mattered a lot in 1990, my nigga.
You said what?
I said 2 years mattered a lot in 1990.
Yeah, because one of us was in preschool and one of us was in second grade.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. It mattered a lot. Shit.
How about the fact that I feel like me and a lot of other people feel like if someone feels like they know at first sight, it's a red flag.
I've heard that. Matter of fact, I talked about that on Work in Progress before, and we had a whole discussion about that and how love at first sight. My list just got crazy. Love at first sight. Love at first sight is a fleeting thing. So if you now, I'm not, listen. I did my thing quick. One of my mans, he's still married to his wife. He did his thing quick. They married within 6 months. Matter of fact, my ex I was with, she had I don't know if this was her boss. I forget who she was, but she knew this older white woman who was mad cool, and she married her husband like in 2 months after meeting him, and they was married at the time maybe like 30 years. You know what I mean? So I don't discount that. I don't discount that at all. I believe love at first sight is fleeting. And if you can marry somebody based off that, that's a red flag. If that love at first sight is like, oh my God, you've whom I've dreamed of, you're the aesthetic I've always wanted, whatever. Now let's get to know you and see if this shit work. Hey, listen, sometimes it be short.
Like, yeah, because sometimes people be forcing it because someone looks the part that they want.
Right, but they ain't that. And I learned that the hard way a few times. I think we all learned that the hard way a few times, men and women. Yep. I feel like and what I was gonna say behind that too, I don't even want a woman that I like anymore. Like just like I don't want to just like them. I noticed in all of my journeys, I need a woman who I can actually understand and understands me. Like I didn't understand how much understanding meant. I thought because you're both smart, you can understand each other. I thought that because you have similar interests, you understand one another. Like I thought all of these, I was wrong. Understanding is a lot to do with your value system, how you were raised, where you were raised, culturally speaking, right? Which is why
How
I don't.
old you are.
Yeah, facts. And how you can accept someone's flaws.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that's why I could never. I don't think I could ever seriously date a white woman who wasn't from the hood. I don't think I probably could date. I and have dated black women who weren't from the hood. And you know what? There were some things that they did that I did, and that they didn't like. Like it was like no, and I'm like, nigga, that's what we all do where we
It's a
from,
culture shock.
right? And like, and it's not even a compatibility thing. I think it's deeper than that because she or he doesn't have to agree with everything you do. They, as long as if they understand why you're doing it and they have any level of critical thought, I think that helps. Like, all right, I get why you did that, but let me show you a better way. Because I had that conversation a couple of days ago. I understand your point of view. I get it. You're still wrong, and let me tell you why. You know what I mean? Because I think those conversations are just as important as I got your back.
I feel like the understanding is very important. But it could, because I mean, if I understand you and why you do things, and I also understand what it would take to influence you in another direction.
That's spoken like a real woman, but go ahead. Spoken like a real woman. I need to know how to influence you. Men don't think like that. FYI. Cough, 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 cough.
Because a lot of the stuff that y'all don't agree about, you never will.
A lot of the stuff that we don't agree about.
You're never going to agree about.
But I think that's a logical way to look at something. I'm not here to change people's minds. I'm here to educate. And after I educate, like that's it. I don't think there's much more after that.
That's why they said you have to be willing to accept your partner as where they are. You have to assume they're never going to change.
Yeah.
You're going to
I
have
agree.
conflicts. It's more about how you handle the conflicts than the fact that you're going to have conflicts.
Conflict is inevitable. I met one couple, and rest in peace to one of the spouses. It was two women, and I remember I hosted this event in like 2018, and I remember them saying like they never had an argument, like they never argue.
Sounds
And I was
fake.
like, you never argue? And then I thought about a few relationships that I was in, like more longer lasting relationships, and I realized I never argued with them. We didn't always agree, but we didn't argue. I don't think I argue much now, frankly speaking. But again, there are disagreements. But I'm not arguing with somebody. I'm gonna argue
I
down.
feel like we don't even have people around us who really argue like that. I think that's part of us becoming more discerning. And that's why I
That's
said
true.
being older
That's
matters, because as you get older, I feel you get more particular. And so as you get more particular, people can't even get into your circle with certain
no.
views and takes and attitudes and energies. And so as far as like understanding each other, you can't even get to the point. I'm not forcing anyone to understand me. Like that's not going to be a thing.
Right.
Like I don't want to go back. I understand that, like I said, there will be conflicts. There will be times y'all don't see eye to eye, but the way we go about that will be completely different. There won't be no like trying to force me, trying to force you.
I feel like I got one for you. Anybody who knows anything about somebody, whether it be 30 seconds or 30 minutes, you have to be the most self-secure, self-acknowledging, humble, mature, wise person in the world. Other than that, you're kidding yourself. Because a lot of the things that I noticed that I wanted in my woman, I saw it within me first. Whether it be a change, whether it be something that I know I needed support in, whether it was how I was hugged. You know what I mean? Like, I can't know that in 30 minutes. There's no way. And if you feel like you know those things, and nigga, help me hit the lotto. It's like $1 billion. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? You know, nigga, because ain't no way. Like, yo, let me tell you, I've dated bad, good, like, I couldn't sleep next to them. Can't sleep next to you. I don't sleep well next to you. That's a problem. You know what I mean? Or like the sex is good, but I'm not wowed. I'm gonna cheat probably. Like this is boring. Or like I said, something simple like she doesn't understand me. I'm going through this thing. Like, yo, I never forget. And I told you this before. I remember I was like, yo, yeah, you acting mad funny. I think you talking to these bitches. I said, nah, like I think I'm depressed. I think something's wrong with me. I'm like, oh shit. Never had that conversation again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you don't know. You can't find these things out in 30 seconds. Or 30 minutes. And if you can, if you're not all of the aforementioned adjectives of self, you're lying to yourself. Or you taking a shot at the dark because there's this thing that they did or that you saw that you like, that you're like, oh, this is my forever person.
And I feel like it might be easier, and I think this is like the arranged marriage thing. Like, it might be easier when everyone around you comes from the same culture or has similar upbringings, because that cuts a lot of that out. You know what I mean? Or, like that stuff is out the way. But our culture, our country, everyone is, even in New York City, everyone's from everywhere. Everyone grew up in different situations with different circumstances. You know what I mean? Different points of view, different religions. Like,
you know what's funny? You say that, even in Brooklyn, like somebody from Flatbush has a way different outlook than where you were raised in Brooklyn. Somebody from motherfucking Canarsie has a way different perspective from somebody who lived around downtown.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's way different. And I'm just like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so like the diversity is exponentially different. Like exponentially different. We're talking about backgrounds, we're talking about education levels, we're talking about different neighborhoods, different approaches to life. We're talking about, we gotta filter through a lot more.
Right.
Than if we lived in a xenophobic society.
In New York?
Yeah. Most New Yorkers, just the fact that you can't even be from New York and be like, oh, everybody here is a New Yorker. That's not the case.
Does that make it xenophobic though?
No, I said we're not xenophobic.
I think you said that we were. I'm just like, I don't see it that way. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Man. You got any other notes? Anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
It was dope for what it was. I'm tired. These last 2 weeks have been rough on me. I ain't gonna hold you.
You know you have 30 minutes? You probably don't even have 30 minutes.
Oh. I can't believe my birthday is in 2 weeks.
Your birthday is in 2 weeks.
That's fucking wild to me.
Nia's birthday is also in less than 2 weeks.
Yep. You doing anything for her?
I'm gonna take a couple of her raggedy little friends out to play beat the bomb.
Shit. My daughter's birthday next week.
Chicks after. I told her we're not doing a big party. I said pick 5. Pick 5 of your friends. I'm not doing the whole party.
Not considering what we got planned. I gotta go get the damn, I don't know. My oldest is getting on my nerve a little bit, but I understand she's going through some shit. So I've been trying to be nice, but she's getting on my fucking nerve.
Yeah, I can't.
Yo, I've been asking her to get the papers for the passport for mad long, and it's been like a month, and I'm just like,
Can't you just get it online?
I don't even know. I thought you had to go to actually get the paper.
I think we could get it online. You might be able to print it out.
I'm about to Google that shit right now. I'm still gonna make it go.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm asking you to do some shit 3 or 4 times for.
Yeah, I can't.
What's it called?
DMV.
Passport.
Mm. Yeah, I can't.
Not you saying DMV. That's crazy.
It. Oh, it's at the post office. You're right.
She said DMV.
Let's think about the DMV. Anywho, thank you for all the men who didn't give us any feedback. Y'all sit here watching. We know
Facts.
you're out there. I can see you.
Oh my god.
Now y'all been in love, huh? Now y'all been struck by Cupid's arrow. Did you know you had 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Yeah, I can't. I wonder who made up that shit. Men know in 30 minutes. Men don't know anything in 30 minutes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I knew I was waiting for one of them comments. I was waiting for one of them comments. Don't do that.
What is it? I know in 30 minutes. But I told you no. We usually know no in 30 minutes. I know no in like 10 seconds.
You know what in 10 seconds?
I know no. My answer is no. And it's definitely been instant. Like lightning bolt. No. Like hell no. Fuck no.
Have you ever had a no turn into a yes? The first 10 seconds, you're like, nah. And then within a certain time frame, you're like, damn, I actually like this person.
No, but I feel like I've been that person to somebody else. Like they've had a preconceived notion of me, and then they got to know me later. It was like, oh.
I've definitely been that person to somebody else.
So.
Because I have, I'm an acquired taste, like caviar and shit. And then once you like it, you're like, oh, I know why people pay so much.
All right, guys. Good night. He said we know where we want to eat in 30 minutes. Oh, shit.
That's a good shot. Whoever said that, I appreciate it. That's a good shot. Get your life together.
We gotta go.
Get your life together. Look how triggered. Tighten up, y'all. It ain't that hard.
It be your own people, yo. It be your own people.
Figure it out, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Later.
Good night. Next week.